What's going on, my friend? It's been a while.
Yeah, it has. I finally got some time to join the space, bro. What's up?
Dude, what's up, dude? Yeah, you were just like grinding, inundated with your schooling and everything, huh?
What's up?
You were just inundated with school and everything, huh?
Yeah, school is fucking me up. Then I'm studying for because I'm retaking my LSAT because I want a better score. I want to get a scholarship, so that's been taking up time. Normally I'm working out or walking while you're in the space, and I'll start sprinting. I'll do walk sprint intervals. So I don't want to be on the space and you guys hear me fucking sprinting, pounding pavement and
Panting,
shit.
yeah. Too funny.
But yeah, bro. I think the U.S. is going to intervene very soon, especially now that the Kira compound got attacked.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm monitoring it right now. Tel Aviv was just attacked, and it looks like Israel's just responding right away. Right now, like literally minutes ago, we have an attack on against a warehouse in Chahar Danga industrial town in Tehran region. We've got Israeli projectiles are now attacking the Iranian capital. Air defense is activated over Tehran. We've got so like literally this is crazy because like an hour or two ago, I was browsing and I found that Tel Aviv was under attack and everything, and I'm following the trending and everything. They're getting fucked up. People are memeing about it. One meme about it is I tweeted a meme about it. They complain that Gaza's using human shields, and then they put their Mossad HQ in like dead fucking center of Tel Aviv, and now they're complaining that they're being attacked. Their civilians are being attacked. I also want to take a moment here. I don't know if I'm sure I'm on the Christian side of things. So I definitely want to pray because, we joke and meme all day online about the heckin' Jews and how they heckin' control everything. But, let me just add this guy as a speaker here. He left. Uh, but it is like all war is tragic. Like there is a deep valuation of human life. It's been gifted to all of us by God, and that warrants a special level of respect. Simultaneously, the world is complicated, the world is fallen, and we know that we live in a world that doesn't quite work that way, and it follows to take positions on whether or not one country deserves it or something else. And so, I just want to take that moment there. The moment that really broke my heart with that, and kind of funny, it has nothing to do with people. The moment that broke my heart was there was a circulating video around that they pulled a dog out from underneath rubble, and it's kind of like the meme of like, I'm a total misanthrope with people, but with dogs, it's just like, it just breaks my heart every time. So. But yeah, this was crazy. I think you tuned in for a moment last night. I was literally originally last night making the space just like a general overview of reviewing how we got here and everything. Basic overview of like Jewish influence in the United States. But then like as we were doing it, this guy from Iran joins our space and he's like, "Wait, hang on, guys, I'm hearing like explosions and everything," and he's sending me pictures and everything, and like we were right there, right as it broke out. I go and I check, and he was like 5 minutes ahead of all the Twitter posts about it. So this is crazy escalatory today. So
Yeah, that's fucking wild. That is wild. So what's alarming to me is now that the Kira compound was attacked, and you just mentioned Mossad earlier, what's gonna stop false flag operations in the U.S. to get us to join the war? Because now Israel's been begging since Netanyahu went to Congress 20 years ago, saying we need to attack this country, this country, this country.
yes,
And all five of those countries have been attacked. The sixth
yes,
one is Iran. And now we have this going on.
yes, very good. I don't know if you see my friend Vermilion. Vermilion asked me last night. He's a little unfamiliar, so he's asking me like what's the real deal here? Like, what's the incentive? What's the goal? I mentioned the Greater Israel Project and everything, but I needed a little bit of a review. And it sounds unreasonable to us that states and nations act in such a way of fighting back and forth and everything, but like sometimes that is just the simple answer. The simple answer is Israel was deliberately inserted in there in 1948 in territory that didn't belong to them. So just right from the start, like obviously that's going to not sit well with the Arab Muslim world. And then they had to split the territory of Israel and Palestine. But since then, Israel's been expansionist. They've been taking over Palestine, the Gaza Strip, and everything. And that's just antagonized the rest of the region. And so you have the rest of the region waging wars against them. There was the Yom Kippur War, and there was the one before that. And the onslaughts and attacks. Now, the Jewish position is, oh, like I'm teasing them a little, but oy vey, well, under attack. And it's like, well, you're kind of fucking assholes, and it's not as simple as you're just going to get inserted in there and kapoof, everyone's going to get along all nice and dandy in sunshine and rainbows. And so following that, the Arab Muslim world keeps attacking them. The United States gets involved in somewhat. And the United States originally was relatively not biased, not too far sided one way. But post JFK, that's when we really started taking a side. Further, that Israel made a resolution, and the resolution was, it looks like we're not going to get along with everyone here. They resorted to, okay, we're not going to get along, so we need to topple and depose all of our enemies in the region. And then, like you just said, that's how you have, over the past 20 years, that's how you have Lebanon toppling, paid off, Egypt and Jordan paid off by the United States. And that's how you have the Iraq War. And all of that is to achieve regional hegemony, because Israel, if it maintains dominance of the region, it is as simple as oil, it is as simple as trade routes and resources, but particularly the ideology is we have to have dominance because we're not going to be, they're the eternal victim, they're going to be attacked and everything. So they want not only regimes toppled, but the nuclear part comes in, wherein if they're the only power in the region with nuclear weapons, there's no taking them on, because every time a war starts or something, there's always that looming threat of the nuke. And further, that is an interest of theirs that aligns with the United States. This is where it actually gets tricky. We know that they have undue influence in the United States, but where it gets tricky is the United States policy is indeed denuclearized Middle East. Boomers lap that up because they're like, oh, those heckin' Muslims are big fat jerks and everything, but it is a solid policy. Technically, ideally, any country's like ideology or perfect world is they're the only ones with nukes and they control everything, right? That's just the nature of security. So it is in the United States' interest to not have nukes in the region. And so Israel takes advantage of that by selling the United States on bullshit intel. That was the weapons of mass destruction bullshit intel. It toppled the Saddam Hussein regime. It scattered everyone around there. That was one of their doctrines, one of their strategies, is to really sort of split everyone up. Even though they're solid countries, they're factional. That's how you have the Sunnis and the Shiites fighting, how complicated all these struggling tribes and religious sycophant groups are struggling and everything, because when they're not unified like that, it just further strengthens Israel's position for the region. And they sell it to the United States by saying everyone has a nuke, everyone uses chemical weapons, right? That was the Syria issue. The United States didn't care much for Syria, and then all of a sudden it was, oh, big deal, chemical weapons. So a lot of stuff going on here that you could really just analyze purely from a political, historical view, instead of like, deny the Holocaust and that sort of thing. So I saw you on mute there for a second, so you go ahead.
That shit, when you mimic the Jews, that shit had me dying, because I also do a decent Jew voice. Oy vey, the Goyim have nuclear weapons. We need to take them over.
Yeah, oy vey. The expression, the Heb cries out in pain as he strikes you.
My tuchus is killing me.
Yeah.
No, seriously, bro. Oh, goodness gracious.
Yeah, you only see that Netanyahu, he only wants the war for the expansion of Israel. And you see like all the Israeli people, they're all suffering. Well, he flew his plane back to Greece when they were striking. Also, how long has Israel been provoking the wars for how many years? Or I shouldn't say years, decades. They're cooking all those Muslim countries in the Middle East.
Yeah, they're very belligerent. October 7th, and the key thing was that they did know that they needed a Cassius Belli to wage this war and send it, like, take it to its final threshold. And you have October 7th, and the key thing there is, in typical Jewish fashion, it was an op in that they didn't conduct the op, but the greatest, like, their intelligence is their shit. Spying, intelligence, they're like Turbo, that, they're the video game character, the spy character, where that's like your skill tree that you can max out, and your, like, strength skill tree only goes up to 20 instead of 100 or something. So it would follow to beg the question of, how did they allow October 7th to happen? These people are dodo heads. They attacked them in the most dodo headed way. But what it provided for was this incendiary attack, such that they would now have the Cassius Belli to say, oh, invade Gaza. And then it just domino effects from there. Oh, well, invade Gaza because they're jerks and they want to attack us. Oh, but really, these other groups are going to want to do the same thing too. And now and they've been doing that too. They would also antagonize Hezbollah, attack Hezbollah in these sort of subtle ways to get a response. And if the response was escalatory, now they have the excuse and the Cassius Belli to attack Hezbollah. And Hezbollah then is the perfect one, because Hezbollah is an Iranian-backed militia. So now they get to attack Hezbollah, and then they get to say, well, let's cut the snake at the head and get Iran, because they're just going to keep funding these groups, so we got to go right after Iran. And they really want to go right after Iran for that nuclear capability and that they're a developed country. So,
The land they grabbed in Lebanon, they have not given back. I don't know if anyone's really noticed that, but when they did that preemptive invasion a few months back, they still haven't given back that occupied land yet.
right.
They're just occupying it.
Yeah, and that just flies under the radar. Lest we forget, too, that they attacked the Iranian embassy in Syria not too long ago. And attacking embassies is like a big, big no-no in foreign relations. I thought that this was all going to start then, but Iran has forever had to play this middle ground of, they have to respond in the name of just being, like, not pussying out. But they responded in this almost symbolic way, in a way that was easy, to be tracked and telegraphed and so forth. And you have Iran forever in this precarious position of, they've been in the middle ground all this time. So the memes of they've been 2 weeks away from a nuclear weapon and that sort of thing, that's because they have a civilian nuclear program wherein they have a certain level of enrichment of uranium. But their facilities are capable of enriching uranium to the point of weaponry. And so that's how we have this. Iran has been on the precipice of a nuclear weapon for a long time. Now, it's tricky because I'm pretty sure their religious doctrine is heavily against nuclear weapons, but simultaneously, they know that the game this entire time has been, if they depose their nuclear program altogether, which is what the United States and Israel keeps trying to make a deal over, Israel's just going to attack them. And we saw that in the Libya model. And so Iran has had to play this middle ground of, they maintain their civilian nuclear capabilities, but they don't enrich so far as to build a weapon, because that would also incite an attack. If they don't have a nuclear capability at all, even at the civilian level, they're open, they're vulnerable. But if they build a bomb and the United States and Israel finds out, well, now that's escalatory and antagonistic enough to warrant an invasion, or, I mean, at least an invasion in terms of foreign relations. Whether or not we think that reasons or invasion is not is obviously a separate debate. So, and the key thing of why this is happening now is because there was the negotiation deadline, the 60-day deadline, and of course Israel sabotaged it the whole time, and they were belligerent. They were just screwing it all over, leaking bullshit to the press to, antagonize relations between the United States and Iran, we actually have a faction of United States officials that are trying to avoid a war with Iran. Trump is on the side of avoiding a war. I think Vance is too, and I think even Pete Hegseth. But then we have war hawk neocons like Marco Rubio and not Tim Waltz, the Mike Waltz, war hawking, and they've been battling it out this whole time too. Not only have they been battling it out, but Trump started proceeding to negotiate with Iran to the exclusion of Israel. But there really is the reason that this all came together in the form of a war is that there is this fundamental sticking point of Iran cannot accept non-nuclear capabilities, cannot accept just totally deposing a nuclear capability, but simultaneously the United States can't accept them with any nuclear capacity at all. There were a few deals thrown out there, a deal of, maybe not on Iranian soil. Maybe the facilities are run by a consortium of officials from Europe, from the United States, and everything. But ultimately, there really just simply was this impassable point of Iran couldn't give it up, and the United States and Israel can't let them have any nuclear capacity at all. So this is the real stuff, and I'm liking that this is happening and talking about it because. And not even to even change the subject, but I'm just getting, and I'm telling all the other space hosts too, like, I'm kind of getting sick and fucking tired of people it's 2025. In 2016, we heard that, like, women don't take accountability, and it's like, oh, pff. And then, that was 9 fucking years ago, and that's all anybody still wants to talk about. Like, so I'm glad this is happening. I'm trying to take the opportunity to talk about it here. So.
Yeah. So my question to you is, and I talked about it earlier, but I'm gonna bring it up again because there's more people in the chat. With these missile strikes going on at the moment, and with Trump, Vance, some Hegseth being anti-war with Israel, or Iran, I should say,
Mhm.
what is the chances that there will be false flag operations on U.S. soil to get Trump and Hegseth and Vance to change their mind and do a boots on the ground invasion?
Oh, yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, whether it takes the form of a false flag or just psyops, I'm not sure, but certainly, I mean, because this goes to the Jewish ubiquity, the Jewish monolith theology, wherein they always make the memes about, what do you think? Jews have robots and Jews are like, whatever, and the key thing is, yeah, actually, they kind of do have this unifying factor of racial unity, racial um, collectivism. They just are like, it's analogous to family members bickering back and forth, but ultimately it's kind of like the meme of like, only I can like beat up my brother, you can't. And so that's sort of their thing. The left wing Jews push basically all the left wing stuff, but the key part of that is it is to their survival tactic of blending in. So we have blend in here where all the race stuff, if you make like race doesn't exist and everything, it makes it harder for Jews to be classified as as an other group. Simultaneously, the right-wing Jews think that their best chance at facilitating their interests and existence is Israel, countryhood, national pride, and so forth. And so you had that sort of battle there. October 7th clued in a couple of key things, and that was that when it mobilized the left against Israel, it told them a couple of things. Firstly, it told them that the racial stuff, because they almost made Jews blend in too well, the left wing and the brown people, I suppose, categorized them with white people. So now you have this image of Israel are the jerks, the colonizers, and so forth. And so following that, they decided, okay, we're scratching that strategy. We're going to unite on this front. And that's how you have the past year or two, really the racial stuff being like greenlit now, and especially because it mobilizes the whiteys and it mobilizes the conservatards. And when they are mobilized, they're sort of like chomping at the bit. It's like feeding, it's like a foot and door phenomenon. They were fed a little bit here of a green light, and that's how you have like the idea of, moving the ball down the field. And so, but of course, the topic that's locked off was the Israel and Jewish topic. So all that's to say that now that they're united on that front and in that way, your question is absolutely valid to say they're going to impose operations in the United States here, whether they be false flags or psyops or so forth. They are going to try to get the United States involved. They've kind of forever been trying to get the United States involved. And that is because they can't fully take on Iran by themselves, and there's almost a little bit of an arrogance there of, they want the Gentiles to fight the war for them. And so bolstering or attacking Iran was definitely a design to get that to happen, because Iran attacking Israel, if it was just enough, just escalatory enough, it would indeed prompt the United States to get involved. So, like, it's literally any day now. They might not even have to conduct operations there.
Do you think they're
You know what, dude?
do you think they're going to sink an ocean liner again, just like for old time's sake?
Yeah,
Just to make.
imagine. Yeah. A Carnival cruise ship. A Carnival cruise is going to be going across the English Channel again, and then they're going to sink it, and then it's going to be over.
Dude, you were talking about the right wing and the left wing Jews both operating on the same subversive tactics, just on different sides. Look at Laura Loomer. She pretended to be like this base right wing conservative for the longest time. And the second she got to yap about Palantir, she went for it
Yeah,
and said, we need to install Palantir. Like,
absolutely.
the right wing Jews are using this protest to further what they want. The left wing Jews are using this protest to further disposing of Trump. It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great thing to point out.
Imagine having two different groups fighting over your country.
Yeah, that's a great thing to point out. You notice absolutely the Laura Loomer tweet during the riots, right? Isn't that just so delicious? It's so like in your face every time, wherein the protests and all that, I think the protests were organic. Like, you can't like go full schizoid and say that everything's an op, but I think they just saw the opportunity that the riots then will, well, we need Palantir to, heck out, get those heckin' brown people to heck off. And it's like, let's just, casually throw that in there and then omit the part where Palantir will surveil them, but then omit the part where they sort of use that as a foot in the door to surveil everybody. It's almost like Palantir is going to set up a system for a reverse early life check. They're going to have a database and they're going to early life check all of us to see if we have any involvement with Israel or Jews or whatever. And then if we don't, then they're going to come after us. So yeah, that's a great thing to bring up. So we have Reasonable Man. Thanks to you joining. I think you brought in all these people here. I know HVAC. Nice to meet you. You're like a big account here. So thanks for joining. Thanks for the engagement here from both of you guys. Much appreciated.
I just like to say funny things. I don't even have real opinions.
That's funny.
Yeah. Thanks for hosting us. I don't have any strong opinions about what's going on with Israel and Iran. I hope they kill each other, and I hope it doesn't cost us a dime.
Yeah. Yeah, there's this non-interventionist idea, and like in the ideal world, the United States our involvement would just extend to the strategy of the oil, the trade routes, and that they are middle powers. And that is a really key important thing there, because we're used to this idea of the United States having eternal, unipolarity in terms of power, but we kind of fucked that up to the point of now we're competing, with Russia and China. When I was in the military, they called it near peer conflict. And so with that, we have these middle powers that now we have to compete for to get an edge on. So that would really be the extent to the American interest in the Middle Eastern region. But we're screwing that up because we're beholden to Israel and we're beholden to their influence in our politics and in our media. And so with that, you have the actual ideal, but of course we're not living in the ideal. I will say too, I am going to take the Christian position here of we live in the real world, wars happen, and there are, you could argue that they're just or unjust and everything, but I do think it is a tragedy that there are civilians dying in both countries. I don't want people to die. I don't want people to be blown up and all of that. I understand it happens in the world. I'm not going to play naive and do like a libtard signaling here. But
I kind of hope both teams have fun. I don't.
yeah. Yeah. It's just a COD game, bro. Just join the lobby. You guys watching? It's
Dude, I was just thinking, if you look back at World War One, how the web of alliances caused one side to get all their allies and another side to get all their allies. If this continues to escalate with the BRICS alliance, Russia will obviously join Iran, and then Israel with our backing, NATO charter, UN charter, shit like that, it will just bring about the war without even needing a false flag. I just thought about that right now due to the strength of the alliances.
Exactly. Well said. Yeah, this is how world wars start. We've seen this happen wherein it's about alliances and it just causes all kinds of domino effects. All of these interwebbed complex relationships. You're absolutely right to suggest maybe a false flag won't even happen there. So, yeah, tuning into the World COD game. We're just tuning into the biggest COD game in the world now. And so, but I will say it is tragic. I won't like be a libtard signaling, why can't everybody just heckin' get along? That's not how the world works. That's not how anything works. And whether or not I root for one side or another, I will say that in a way, Israel has been its worst enemy on this in that uh, you know, they got a little too bold with all this stuff with October 7th. There was the racial component of, Israel and Jews being categorized with white people. And so, that mobilized the left against them. And then you have just the fact that this is such a huge conflict and world stage that's been happening for the past year or two. It's sort of incited everyone to investigate whether you call it the Jewish question or something along those lines. It just caused everyone to investigate whether or not, what's really going on here, because it's pretty nebulous to your average normie. They don't even understand, half the time normies will ask you something like, are they a religion or are they a race? And they'll be like, wait, why does the United States go to the Middle East all the time and all of that? So, but
That's
that's kind of the
the
white
race
pill.
is just this. That's the same type of person that's like race is just skin color.
Yeah.
That's the same tier of thinking there. So
Yeah.
I put up in the what do you call it, the big screen or something up
Yeah.
top. I put my sincere opinion on the newest Middle East conflict here.
Yeah.
It's this has nothing to do with us. I don't give a shit. I hope all of our elected officials stop kowtowing for Israel, obviously, and yeah, it's just who cares. Well, we are forced to care, obviously, but I mean, really, there's nothing to get spun up over.
Those shekels are too powerful, man. Our whole fucking Congress is bought by Israeli lobbies. At least 300 have almost 100,000 or more in Israeli donations.
I would sell you guys out for a Sam's Club hot dog. So they held out.
Costco hot dog. Make it Costco.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, bro sold us at. Bro said it's White Boy Summer. I need some Costco hot dogs, so I'm gonna sell you guys out so I could have the white guy cookout, the White Boy Summer cookout.
I haven't been to a Sam's Club or a Costco in a hot minute, but when I was a kid, you could buy like a whole box of frozen hot dogs. I think it was like 50 or 100 or something like that. And just throw them all in a pot and boil them all. And it was the best thing ever. It's like one of my core childhood memories.
Yeah, for sure.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah, so I would love to not care. I mean, there's like an element of an individualism of certainly, do we actually care? Like, ideally, this would have nothing to do with us. But to Sean's point, we're forced to have something to do with this. So I'm monitoring for an update here. It looks like, in case anyone missed it, Tel Aviv was attacked, and then Israel responded right away. And it looks like I have Israel airstrikes reported in Basher, southwestern Iran, roughly 15 minutes ago. We have the Israeli cabinet is convening to discuss responses to Iran's massive missile attack. And we have Israel has confirmed it carried out an airstrike yesterday. Iran's uranium conversion, that was yesterday. Okay. So,
Yeah, what all happened yesterday? I was too busy living my life, playing with my son. Like, can you just give us a quick lowdown on what happened yesterday? They bombed some
yeah,
whatevers.
good idea. So,
More people died.
yeah, good idea. So, in case anyone here missed it, essentially the negotiations have been scuttled between the United States, Israel, and Iran. Israel did its operations to sabotage them, say incendiary things to the media, make it troublesome, behave obstinately, such that you know, every time the United States and Iran came close to sort of even coming to a breakthrough in some fashion, it was sabotaged. So the 60-day deadline went up, and that 60-day deadline was really more concerning to Israel because that was the deadline in terms of, they were sort of forced to pause attacks on Iran or facilitating their military campaign. And so they were just chomping at the bit to attack as soon as the deadline was up. And that was exactly what they did. Of course, they sneak in their little, oh, well, this was a preemptive attack in there. And, as if, Iran was just going to bomb. Maybe they would have. Who knows? Iran sort of reached this point of, it's this eternal catch-22 between all three. So Israel launched its, quote, preemptive attack on Iran, and it was a pretty strong attack. It was pretty antagonistic. And so following that, Iran responded a little bit last night,
And,
but then a couple
and
hours ago. Go
in
ahead.
the attack, correct me if I'm wrong, they killed, I guess, their military leadership or
Yes, 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 absolutely. They assassinated
some
a couple
amount.
of high-ranking officials, someone from the IRGC and all that. I'm revealing myself to be low IQ with my memory, so I'm not entirely sure I remember precisely who, but I do know there was a collective of high-ranking officials and nuclear scientists too. That was
It was
key
the
there
chief
too.
of
The
staff.
chief of staff of the IRGC, and we had two nuclear scientists were assassinated. So real antagonistic stuff. Iran, they responded last night, but they really responded a couple hours ago. And now you just have it keep escalating. But ultimately, the starting point from yesterday was essentially that the negotiation deadline was up, and Israel decided to quote unquote preemptively attack Iran. And this is actually a good thing to bring up. They want this larger regional dominance, and they really want this war with Iran to topple their regime and neutralize their nuclear capability. But they also understand that the international community has looked very down on this whole thing. And with looking down on this whole thing, they really lose a lot of their capability to keep facilitating this war. Obviously, they're going to have the United States backing them no matter what, but it certainly has been pretty tricky because, the United States is obviously hesitant to enter. We do have a faction of Americans in the United States government, crazy concept, that don't want the war with Iran, so it's been pretty hesitant. So Israel knows that their sort of Cassius belli, their time is running out. So they had to go full force on Iran, even if it means Iran's going to respond heavily, because Iran responding heavily will just further prompt the United States to enter. So we have that is their operation here. That is their goal. Antagonize Iran enough to get the United States involved before it's too late. If this was to go on for another 6 months to a year or something, these half-assed battles with Hezbollah and everything, they really wouldn't be able to take this all the way to Iran. So, yeah, good questions there. And I'm trying to think of what else.
I, I just got to say, I got to give it up to our boy, Stephen Miller, best Jew, Hitler's top Jew.
Yeah, honorary Aryan.
He didn't tweet about Israel at all, during this entire, fiasco. He's just been staying the course. He wants to, deport, 200 million from the country, something like that.
Gotcha, yeah.
Got to give it up to him.
Yeah, absolutely. So, a lot of good stuff here. I'm checking in on who's checking in here. Any of my guys here. Sorry to, there's quite a bit of people here now, so I'm just going to keep it to people I'm familiar with and our big bros, HVAC and reasonable man. So we have that it's escalating still. We have Tehran is under attack still right now. Israeli airstrikes reported against the Natanz nuclear facility in Isfahan, western Iran. So it's almost like they're directly attacking. And
Do we know how this is going to affect the production of 454B, the refrigerant?
no, I'm not sure. But I did
Uh,
just think we want to start when we start thinking about how the United States gets involved here, there is still the issue of Iran's not going to give it up with the nukes, and they're not really going to give it up in this war. A lot of people tend to think that the Middle East is a bunch of bonehead, disorganized retards, but Iran is a developed country, and it's also kind of like a white country, and it's a much larger population than Iraq, and they have a well-off military. And so with that, the United States really has two options here. One option is to invade. And, do we really want to do that? But then, what does this, sound like? You know, and I'm repeating a certain streamer here from last night, but there's a key element here of this looks an awful lot like a country in 1940 that wouldn't surrender, but we also didn't want to invade. So what does that lead us to? This actually might lead to nuclear weapons in use, if it really were to go that far. But let me not fearmonger. Let me not be too extreme.
well, let me stop you right there because nukes aren't real.
Very good. Yes. True. Yeah. Yo, Trudeau, nukes aren't real. Satellites aren't even real. To be honest, space is definitely not real.
No, space is real. It's just poisonous and we can't go there.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And it's gay.
There's like some kind of weird, I'm not a science guy, but there's like some kind of radiation that just kills you if you go too far out. It's just impossible.
So
It's
yeah,
like
what would
it's like
be
don't touch the lava, don't touch the floor, don't touch the lava. IRL.
Yeah, yeah.
what would be the military strategy for an invasion of Iran? Because it's not like we can go through Iraq. They're still somewhat hostile to us. We damn sure can't go through Afghanistan or Pakistan. So would we see like large scale parachute invasions and then like beach landings on the southern Persian Gulf? Like
That's a
how would
good
they go about this?
That's a good question. So when I was in the army, I had some buddies who were deployed in 2019 to Afghanistan, and one of the entry points to the theater is Kuwait, actually. So I'm looking at a map right now. For those of you who are unfamiliar with the map, I could just draw the picture for you. Israel has a western coast along the Mediterranean Sea. Immediately east of them is Jordan. East of Jordan is Iraq, and then east of Iraq is Iran. But on the southeastern border of Iraq, at the head of the Persian Gulf, is Kuwait. So, rough estimate, just from being a former military bro, would probably be Kuwait would be one of the entry points. Maybe Turkey there too. Turkey's a NATO ally, and Turkey
It
borders
sounds
on
like Israel has
Iran.
a pretty cushy buffer zone between that country. I don't understand why this is such a problem.
Yeah, right. Well, an interesting development is that part of the Syria regime toppling, just a couple of months ago was to open up that airspace for them to fly over Syria and Iraq to attack Iran. But yeah, that makes it complicated, certainly, to have all these bordering countries in between. You often think of wars as countries, on borders with each other or crossing oceans to get to each other. But with these neighboring countries, it certainly makes it complex. You can't just, casually fly over their airspace. You can't just casually move your troops through. You got to make deals and all of that, and you got to have, or just totally flatten or neutralize the country's ability to even object to that. So, yeah, that's a funny bit, isn't it? But that underscores that, where is Israel's paranoia really coming from? And it's just as simple as their doctrine since 1948 is they figure, well, we tried peace, quote unquote, tried peace in the Middle East. That didn't work. So now our answer is to just fucking blow everyone up and totally annihilate them to guarantee our safety. That's like the clean break memo, and there was one before that specifically outlines their strategy for their interests in the Middle East. So,
And the Samson option,
yes,
or
and the
it's
Samson option. So for
I
those of
mean
you,
that's just like I mean that's the end of the world. That they will threaten the end of the world. But I guess I guess nukes aren't real, so we don't really have to worry about that, right?
It's weird that we have this giant super weapon and we just haven't used it for 80 plus years or something like that, you know?
Honestly, I hope you're right. I really do.
yeah, that's funny.
That Israel is saying that Iran can't have any nuclear bombs, weapons, and they're running an illegal program that was stolen from the United States technology, and also to mention that they also played a key role in killing a president. In the 60s, I should say. I guess you guys can figure that out. I think this is just I really don't
Not
hope,
Lincoln.
think, I don't want United States to help or assist them at all. We need to just focus on our own country, in my opinion.
Yeah, and they are their own worst enemy. This is unpopular.
I mean, guys, I don't want to be black-pilled, but we don't really have a country. We have an economic zone now. I mean, let's be, you know.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. So, yeah, the United States can't seem to get it together with facilitating its own interests. And this is like, we are not living in a world where the United States is the only big power now. And that has changed things quite a bit. Our beholdenness to Israel is just weakening our position against China and Russia. And that's not to say that, everything is always about, being postured for war and everything, but other countries extracting power from your power just will necessarily make your interests weakened and neutralize your ability to facilitate your interests. It might not be a war thing per se, but if the Russia and BRICS is a good example of that. Middle powers now have power in that they are sort of being proposed to by the United States and Russia and China. It's like the middle powers are like the hot girls that everyone's texting all the time, and they have quite a bit of power now to the point of they get to decide where they go. And some of these countries like Brazil and India, they know that siding with the United States causes problems because of their beholdenness to Israel. So um, yeah, but and we don't have what are we even at this point? Like especially with the economics and the economic zone and everything, we cannot take on, like, we love to think that we're all powerful, almighty. We cannot take on China and Russia as it stands. I mean, arguably you could say it's middle level and everything, but the way that we can't fund our wars, we don't manufacture anything. Their manufacturing capabilities are way higher than ours. That's why you have that the sanctions on Russia for the Ukraine war didn't work. And so we don't manufacture the way we used to. We outsourced it all. And so now we really could not, challenge these other powers for war or anything of the like. And we insist on not manufacturing, and we insist on outsourcing everything because of economics and everything. And I think, Mike, you could attest to this. You like anybody who has joined the military, listen, we love our guys and everything, and there's tech and sophistication and all that, but we all know that a lot of fucking idiots are in the military. I have no problem saying that. I don't take offense when somebody tries
Oh,
to
you mean the
call me.
jobs program for brown people?
Yeah, yeah. even the white people in there are just like really fucking stupid
I
and
think that's the federal
insufferable.
government. It's the jobs program for brown people.
Yeah. You know, they spend all day fucking off.
I say
Mikey,
that
go
as
ahead.
someone who did it. So
Yeah.
well, you all have my permission to say you're a veteran on Veterans Day to get free chicken tenders.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Mikey, go ahead.
Dude,
I oh,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Whoever's gonna speak first, I'll speak after.
It'll be short. It was just kind of funny. Like the politicians, I think, are cucked. They were saying pray for Israel, and then like Israel started attacking Iran in the middle of negotiations. Don't you guys kind of find that funny?
Yeah, exactly. That just further bolsters that they had to jump on the opportunity to continue everything, and it demonstrates the nature of the relationship between Israel and the United States. We send them shit. We do so much for them. We should be telling them what the fuck to do, and they blatantly disobey us and blatantly disrespect us. It's an embarrassment to Trump, and it's an embarrassment to the country. Sean, you
Whenever,
go ahead.
oh, sorry, never mind.
You were
You could
talking
go ahead if
about
you.
how we lost our manufacturing capabilities, or we outsource them now, and like Russia and China have completely bolstered their manufacturing capabilities. And I want to bring up an example of what happened with the F-4 Phantom in the early stages of the Vietnam War. They didn't have a cannon on there because they thought technology replaced cannons. But when they got into close range dogfights because the missiles weren't working, the MiGs were kicking ass for the first few years. Then they released the F-4F variant, I believe. And then we started to establish air superiority. But we see it now because if we were to get in a war, we've outsourced manufacturing. We don't have the same manufacturing capability. And Russia has been fighting a boots on ground war against another conventional and powerful army. We've been fighting goat herders the last 20 years. Like, there's such a major gap right now.
So all that being said, that's not wrong necessarily, but I think a lot of people overestimate how hard it is to tool up manufacturing if there is like a big war or whatever. Like, you can build a factory that makes airplanes pretty quick as long as you have the stuff to do it with, like the raw materials. So.
Good
Yeah, that's
point.
a good point. Sean, you go ahead.
I'm done. I was just HVAC. What's his name? HVAC Barclay made a good point.
So, and also to the politicians thing, my favorite thing to do is every time I see a politician tweeting about pray for this other country or just a 26 tweet thread about another country, I like to, see where they're supposed to be representing. And then I search pray for that district or that state or whatever. And surprise, there's never any tweets about that state. You know, it's very telling.
Yeah, right. United States is like it's almost like a meme of the person who whatever is concerned about. I guess I'll use the gym as an example because I'm like a gym guy. The meme of people will give you the steroids and this and that and be so concerned with what you do and your workouts. And it's like crazy concept, but you're like a fat retard. So shouldn't you be worried about yourself first? So this is like the state level version of that, the country level foreign relations version of that. I wanted to say, Sean brought up a good point about the, people thinking that people just missing the mark on where we need to be with tech and all of that. Following all of this problem with economics and manufacturing, and although HVAC makes a good point of like, is it really that hard to build up your manufacturing back and forth? Like it's 2025, we can erect a fucking factory. There's a huge problem of, corporate tards, Elon Musk tards, thinking that AI is now going to be the solution to everything instead of just simply chilling on the fucking outsourcing. And so we have this problem now of over investing in AI and over facilitating AI and everything, but that's becoming a problem because that requires quite a bit of electricity and quite a bit of power to put together. So a lot of stuff here. Let me check in. It's looking like this war is just fully fledged now. They're just exchanging attacks back and forth. So U.S. intervention is really going to be any minute now. So we got, let's see, some of my buddies are
So,
coming in here.
so, uh, so Iran, they lost like all of their military leadership. And who did Israel lose? Like just a bunch of like a gay orgy or something? Is that where the
Yeah,
missiles
yeah.
hit?
Listen, that is where all of their morale is, okay? Like,
The gay capital, that's hella
don't you
funny.
discount that.
Yeah, they were having the girls. It was girls' night in their high-rise apartments in Tel Aviv with their gay floor-to-ceiling windows and gay wine and cheese butt sex parties. And Iran committed the heinous sin of interrupting that by blowing them up. So now it's fucking game on for Israel.
I'm just mad they won't invite me to those parties, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the real red pill here is to just, if you can't beat them, join them. You just gotta get in there. Last thing I heard, I see here on one of the pages I'm going with is that explosions were reported in eastern Tehran. This was roughly 16 minutes ago. Let me check the trending here to see if anybody else is tweeting things that are more up to date. It might be cooling down a little bit. So we have Gibson. Gibson, welcome back. You were in the space last night. How you doing, brother?
Hey, I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Good to have you as always. My key Marchese General there. Wherever you see me working, you see my key Marchese General, the Ghost of Gibson there, Marchese maxing and facilitating all the grind. So, for all of you fellow, maybe I could add, we've got a few guys who want to speak here. So let me add Grass Ophelia and let me add Blake here.
Yeah, that Blake guy, really, really wants to talk.
Blake been going crazy the last 20 minutes, bro.
Yeah. Blake, the floor is yours.
I just got 4 things to say, gentlemen. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Number 1, Iran does not want this American unit to come after them because I've been training with techniques and I will fuck them up. The rest of the 3 things are simple. God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your engines!
We're gonna get so many good Hollywood movies. We're gonna get so many good Hollywood movies and video games out of this war. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, right? COD Modern Warfare, the next COD Modern Warfare trilogy.
We can finally stop doing this futuristic laser beam bullshit and actually get a real first-person shooter again. We've earned it.
Yeah. Grassophilia, welcome. I saw you asking to speak too, so you go ahead.
Are you going to talk about the grass?
I'm not. That's why
I have
got
grass
you here.
questions.
Yeah.
I actually have grass questions.
Yeah, I think we should turn this conversation to something more useful than whatever this Middle East thing is. How you guys mow your grass? Like, I need 4 inches. And the thing about the Middle East is like Iran and Israel, they both grow like St. Augustine and zoysia grass as ornamental grasses in their lawns, which aren't native there to begin with.
I do low sunlight. Walmart brand grass seed every year. I don't know if that's.
You can't do that.
I'm sorry.
You gotta get the. Oh, it's okay. We can DM about this.
Okay, all right.
But Israel and Iran here, both of them, just terrible lawn care. I mean, I've been looking at the pictures here and just seeing how these things are.
Brother, if you think that's bad, wait until you see their air conditioners.
Yeah, it's terrible. This is all third world stuff.
Yeah.
Let's get back to mowing at a proper 4-inch height. Get nice and green, fertilize not with like dead ISIS fighters and rotting bodies, with actual good nitrogen fertilizer. Reasonable. I love you. What a great account. Thank you very much, man. You're a great dude.
Love you too, brother. No, the thing about those shithole.
Am I wrong
Middle
for
Eastern
mowing at 3
countries.
inches? Am I wrong for that?
Three's a little low. I'm waiting for my air conditioner unit to like kick on any moment outside on my porch. Like I hoped it would like coincide when I spoke with you, HVAC, because it would be amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it'd be great.
Because I do 3 inches. I buy the cheapest grass seed, low sunlight grass seed at Walmart, and my lawn looks beautiful. So.
It does. Well, you must water.
We get a ton of rain.
Regularly.
We get a ton of rain. I don't need to water.
That's
So
great. Are you like in like Michigan or
now
something or New England?
Missouri.
Missouri.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Do you have a cool season grass or a warm season grass down there? Do you
I'll
know
be
what
honest
kind
with
of
you, I
grass
don't
you
know
grow?
the difference. I just know I buy the stuff that they sell at Walmart and it grows fine, and unless we have like an unseasonably cold winter, it usually makes it.
Yeah, you must be like right on the edge there. So you're probably like a cool season grass, like a ryegrass
Okay.
or a bluegrass. Kentucky bluegrass would be great in your area.
Possibly.
So,
I'm southern Missouri, so, if that,
oh yeah, you're right on the
south of
line.
Mason-Dixon.
Okay, how dark is it usually?
It's a
Is it like deep
pretty
virgin
medium,
green or is it?
There's not too many black people.
yeah, well, that's unfortunately changed
Well,
a
they're
little
like
bit.
fescue. Black people are like the tall fescue of grass. That's a different story.
I like to cut
Yeah.
it 3 inches because it keeps snakes away. That's my big thing. I feel like at
Oh, we don't
4,
have. I'm in the Northeast. We have very little snakes. We have like
okay.
ground hogs and such. So vermins and varmints and
Hey,
stuff.
real quick, just checking. The meme is true. It says an hour ago, a Tel Aviv residential complex was reduced to rubble by Iranian strikes. So
Oh, I hope the air conditioners
definitely,
are okay.
they killed
Oh yeah,
they
really?
they
Yeah,
killed the Jewish hoes having their hoe party, their gay butt sex party on a Friday night. So it's
Oh
really
no, the rave
they're
is
about to
ruined.
fire back. Yeah.
yeah. During the whole Gaza war, I thought that like the people I thought worst about and had most sympathy for were like the landlords. Imagine being a landlord in Gaza and
Can
like
you
all your
imagine the
apartments get
smell?
blown. You can't collect any rent. Like you can't even put an eviction notice on the door because it gets blown off. So
Maybe they
I
took
felt
out an
bad.
insurance policy like the owners of the Twin Towers did, like the day before 9/11
Oh,
or something
So
like
I
that.
Silverstein.
love that.
Yeah,
So
what?
here's the thing.
Yeah, Lucky
I
Larry.
love that conspiracy or
Lucky
that
Larry.
fact or whatever. But every single building in New York is insured for like stupid amounts of money over what it's actually worth.
No, yeah, but
That's
I
So
think the meme is that they
Marvin
literally
Bush
did it
wasn't in
like they
charge of their
insured
security.
they insured it that week or that like day
yeah,
before or something
awful
like that.
timing, right? And that he was out of this country or whatever whenever it happened.
Yeah. Yeah, they'd be like, "Guys, I swear I didn't know, okay? I
Rich
was
people be
just
traveling.
yeah.
Hey, you guys are great. I really appreciate you coming on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm gonna,
for
hey,
I'm gonna
sure.
hey,
head out and
grass
listen.
guy, I followed you. Do you post
I
about
saw
grass?
that. Thank you,
Do
HVAC.
you post
So,
about grass and lawn care stuff?
yeah, I believe in the worldwide HOA.
Okay.
Like, I would, yeah,
Listen,
so,
people shit on HOAs if they're used for their correct purpose and not co-opted by annoying old people. I agree with an HOA that is amendable.
yeah, if Israel and Iran were under the same homeowners association with the same bylaws and statutes, this probably wouldn't have happened. Especially if white people were in charge, you know?
I
So,
love
On
grass.
that
He's a
note, make sure you give all the speakers a follow. Speakers, make sure you follow you get each other too, all right? No follow snobbing. And
yeah,
most of
yeah.
these speakers are my guys here. So it looks like this stuff is cooling down a bit, so there's going to be a lot of reconvening and
Did
press
someone say
releases
cool
and
it?
everything. So yeah. Oh, you're our guy for that. You're an HVAC guy, so
So
yeah. Why don't
grass.
you go over there and fix their air conditioning?
Well, listen, for one thing, they can't afford me. For another thing, I don't fly anymore. So
That's still
I,
me too. Side note on that, I was a drone pilot in the army, and
hey,
like,
I was a geospatial intelligence analyst.
oh, in the army.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so you went to Huachuca too.
Hey, yeah.
Yeah.
I did my time in Arizona.
When were
Uh,
you in?
I don't want to dox myself too hard,
Okay.
but I did my time in the sandbox. I got to go to Korea, got to go to Japan, got to do all the fun things.
Nice. Yeah, I was in for 3 years. I went in 2019. I actually got out because I refused the vax. If any of you are curious about that
Based.
story, you
I
could
took them
go to the
all. I have
articles tab.
superpowers now.
Yeah, you could go to the articles tab on my profile, and it's the very first article. I'll actually post it in the space here momentarily, if anyone's curious about that. So, yeah. So anyway, I was saying I was a drone pilot, and to your point about flying, the more I realized it's all about rote memory and checklists and everything, the more worried I am now about flying than ever before because,
'Cause look
all
who's
that
doing the
memory stuff.
checklists.
What's that?
Look who's doing the checklists.
Look who's doing the checklist, but also like the way that just requires no intelligence. Rote memory is like the lowest level of intelligence here.
So I would disagree a little bit. I was a crew member on an aircraft for 2 of the 4 years that I was in, and I watched the admittedly white pilots they were so diligent about like walking around the plane, looking at every single night, looking at every single aspect of like that aircraft. They actually went through the list with each other. Like, I think if you're doing it right, I think the issue is that people do. They just get in, maybe they don't do that anymore, or some people don't do that. And, it, probably causes problems. They probably just zone out and go through the checklist without actually reading it, stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's why there's all sorts of regulations too about when you can, what amount of sleep you have to have and everything. But
Yeah.
it definitely elucidates a lot. If you ever find out anything about helicopters too, and how like if they're just off by like the slightest bit and on some elements, it's just over. They just instantly fucking
I
completely
was gonna
crash.
say they're a magic trick wrapped in a science, fair project, and it's weird.
Yeah.
I've never I like fixed wing aircraft more than rotary, just cause it feels more normal to go forward. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. So, alrighty, it looks like I think that's a good note to wrap this up on. Give all speakers a follow. Give me a follow. I'm a little guy. I'm trying to get famous here. So help your little guy. Marchese Max, like and retweet all my based posts, all my 5,000 IQ posts. I write articles on here too, so check those out. Those are longer form. If you want, I am also the proverbial based therapist. So if you want coaching and one-on-one sessions on anything related to your goals and what you want to do with your life, how to ascertain a happier, more fulfilling life, you can DM me questions, and you could also go to my website, marchesemethods.com, to get that coaching. And I also have a $5 a month Discord if you want to sort of, take one small step towards that, but not the full step of coaching and one-on-one
Can I
therapy.
say? Oh,
So
sorry, I didn't mean to.
go ahead.
Can I say one thing before we sign off here? If you
Absolutely.
have central heating and air, please swap your filters fairly regularly.
Yeah, so true. And on your dryer too.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, everyone. The thing with central heating and air is it's out of sight, out of mind. You're actively messing with the dryer, so you're like, oh yeah, I should probably clean that out. Like, you
Yeah,
never think of it. The thermostat's just set to whatever. So
very true. Very true. Yeah.
Hey, this was a lot of fun. Thanks everyone. Love you all. Next time we got to have Grass up here, and I want to hear him talk about dandelions.
Oh, I've got a long story about that. And
me
and
too.
the piggyback on HVAC, you got to mow it at least 3.5 or 4 inches. The taller the grass, the deeper the root. The taller the grass, the deeper the root. So keep it
We'll have
high. The roots
we'll
grow
have
low.
the
It's more drought
international
resistant.
we'll have the international dads conference on how to have the perfect lawn here. I'll set that space up just for you guys.
I could
I got my
always use
white
the
New
HVAC
Balances
advice
ready,
now.
laced up and ready to go.
Is that
Dandelions are Mexicans.
What's that, Mike?
Oh, I was just saying, it was nice talking to you all, brothers. Just nice talking to you, the new speakers and all that. I followed you guys.
Nice talking to you too. Nice having everyone here. Nice having my key Marchese General. Definitely, he was mute on this one, but he's turbo red pilled on all of the based and relevant facts. So marchesemethods.com for coaching and or Discord server. Thanks to everyone for tuning in. Thanks to the speakers, and I'll see you guys around next time. Marchese Maxing for the win.